I want to show you the Republican agenda after they retake the House of Representatives. But let me give you a quick status update first. So today is Wednesday, November 9th, and the results of the midterm elections are still not yet final. We won't know the final results in the Senate because of mail-in ballots as well as a runoff election. So in the House of Representatives, the Republicans are expected to take the majority, but at a much lower total. So McCarthy, he is the main candidate to become Speaker of the House. With that being said, I want to tell you the Republican agenda, and I'm just going to I'm going to touch upon the highlights. So just fair warning, this is a very high-level overview. They give a little more detail in the check marks under each objective, but apologies if the print is small. This is the best we could do in terms of formatting. We're going to begin with an economy that's strong. The Republicans are saying that they're going to fight inflation and lower the cost of living. The Republicans are promising lower prices for groceries, gas, housing, cars, you name it. The Republicans intend to make America energy independent, and they're going to strengthen supply chains and make sure that we stop relying on China so much. The Republicans are promising to make our country safer. This entails securing our borders against illegal immigrants and the cartels. They're going to do the opposite of defunding the police. They intend to support an additional 200,000 police officers in our country. And the Republicans will prioritize the defense of our country from foreign threats. Now let's talk about a future built on freedom. The Republicans are going to make sure that every student is capable of success. It's all about the children. And the voices of the parents will be heard because parents know best. And the Republicans are going to pull an Elon Musk on the remaining left-wing social media. Under the Republicans, they're saying that our Constitution will be defended. They're going to hold Washington accountable. So take a look at the check mark. It says, and I quote, "Require the White House to answer for its incompetence." And the Republicans will restore the voice of the people. So that's the plan provided by the Republicans. And of course, the Democrats have to respond to something like that, and the White House did. Take a look at the statement that was issued by the White House. It's about how the Republicans' plan will increase inflation and make your life miserable. It intros with, "Congressional Republicans have laid out their MAGA trickle-down economic plan clearly. Their economic plan will raise costs and make inflation worse." Now, the White House gives 5 major reasons. The first one is, they're saying that the Republicans will try to extend tax cuts that favor the wealthy. They're saying that this is going to add to the deficit and make inflation worse. Reason number 2, the Democrats are saying the Republicans are going to raise prescription drug prices for millions of seniors. They're saying that the Republicans in the House of Representatives are trying to repeal drug pricing measures. Number 3, the Republicans will increase health insurance premiums, especially for those covered under the Affordable Care Act. They're saying that Republicans will try to repeal ACA premium tax credits, which is an average of $800 for 13 million people. Reason number 4, the Democrats are saying that the Republicans will make your energy bills go up in 2023 and beyond. They're saying the Republicans will cut funding for clean energy, which will increase the price of your electricity. Number 5, they're saying that the Republicans will try to undo the student loan forgiveness. The Democrats are saying that this is going to add back debt to 40 million Americans. Now, I want to give you some more specifics about the Republican plan. Republican House Leader Kevin McCarthy is promising to reduce inflation, cut down on government spending, secure the southern border, reduce crime, repeal existing COVID laws, and launch rigorous investigations into the Biden administration. So it's going to be a little bit of everything. I'm going to focus on the fiscal responsibility portion of this. So the government is spending more money than they have coming in. So don't let President Biden fool you. The federal government is still spending like drunken sailors. Biden is saying that they're being so fiscally responsible and they're decreasing the deficits. So I find that a little bit funny and deceiving because this year the federal government is going to overspend and go deeper into debt by an additional $1.5 trillion, so that's an improvement from the previous year, but at the end of the day, the government still overspent and dug us into a deeper hole by $1.5 trillion. Now, the Republicans are saying that they're going to spend less money. And if the Democrats do not agree to a tighter budget, then they're going to weaponize the debt limits. So I'm going to explain this to you. America is broke, but the federal government loves to spend money. So the federal government keeps on borrowing more money. But here's the thing, the federal government, they have a maximum amount that they can borrow. So you can think of it like a credit card limit. And the government keeps on adding on debts and they keep on hitting those limits. But it's no big deal because the politicians, they keep on voting to increase the limits. However, if the politicians do not agree to increase the limits, then the federal government cannot borrow any more money and the federal government would have to shut down. So the Republicans are saying that they're going to use this as leverage. The Republicans are saying that they're going to force the Democrats to reduce the spending programs. And if the Democrats refuse, then the Republicans are threatening to vote against raising the debt limits. So that would indeed shut down the government, could possibly collapse the country. So the politicians are preparing to play a game of chicken. So let's see who wins. McCarthy said, you can't just continue down this path to keep spending and adding to the debt. There comes a point in time where you have to change your behavior. We're not going to keep lifting our credit card limits, and we should seriously sit together and figure out where we can eliminate some waste. So McCarthy brought up Ukraine funding. The Republicans are saying that they support giving money to Ukraine, but not a blank check. They're saying that they're not just going to automatically approve Ukraine funding like the Biden administration. McCarthy said, and I quote, "I'm very supportive of Ukraine, but there has to be some accountability." Now, I want to address this because this is getting blown out of proportion. Some of the Republicans, such as Senator Ron Johnson, are saying that Social Security payments and Medicare should be reclassified as discretionary spending programs. So the government has two types of programs. They have non-discretionary and discretionary. Non-discretionary spending programs get renewed automatically each year. So you can think of it like mandatory spending that's on autopilots. On the other hand, discretionary spending needs to get annual approval from Congress. So Senator Johnson is saying that Social Security and Medicare needs to be reclassified from non-discretionary to discretionary. That would mean that if the government decided to modify or change or stop payments 1 year, then they could. Senator Johnson said, we have to turn everything into discretionary spending so it all gets evaluated. We should do this to fix problems or fix programs that are broken. But listen, honestly, my assessment is that they're not going to change this, or at least not right now, because it would cause chaos and it would destroy the lives of millions of Americans relying on those programs. So I wouldn't worry too much about this one. It's just a bunch of talk. So the Republicans are saying that they want the federal government to be more fiscally responsible. And by doing so, this will lower inflation. So if you don't understand how this is all connected, then let me explain this to you really quickly. So the federal government is broke, as you know, so they borrow more money. So where do you think that money comes from? So a lot of it comes from the Federal Reserve. So the federal government is like, hey, does anybody want to lend me money? And the Federal Reserve prints that money up. So they print up a ton of money and they're like, hey, buddy, I'll lend you some money that I just printed. So the federal government takes that newly printed money and they spend it. And that newly printed money, it enters the economy and it causes inflation. So that's how this all ties together, the overspending, the debt limits, and inflation. The Republicans are saying that they want to slow down the spending. So that's the Republican plan once they take back the House. Again, the results are not finalized. It's going to take a few more days. I'll keep you updated. Please subscribe. And I thank you so much for all the support. Please take care.